nervous I am right now. Alright, I'm gonna speed up. Alright, so what's going to happen if I try to grow a tree in my house? It's not gonna fit in. Let's first assume that the tree gets all the nutrients that are essential for its growth. What's gonna happen once it reaches the ceiling? Let's now assume that the tree can only grow upward, and it has to keep growing until a certain height in order to survive. What's going to happen? It's going to die because trees can never fit into such a small room made out of bricks. It is very difficult to survive in a world that is so different from myself. I grew up playing a Korean MMORPG with 2 other friends, while all of my Chinese classmates played Counter-Strike and Dota. Hao-Lim. I grew up playing badminton with my parents and the same 2 friends, while everyone else played basketball and soccer. I remember the first time I proudly introduced the game to others, and they told me only 3-year-olds still play that game. I remember the first time I asked my classmates to play badminton with me, and they told me, "Nah, we're playing basketball tonight, and you should join us." I never did, and I never spoke another word. I shut myself in and turned from one of the most energetic kids into the one and only least talkative kid. The moment I stopped talking, I felt like I'd finally become partially accepted by this world. By partially, I meant they stopped making fun of me. But every time they walked in a group, I would still be the only one who followed them from behind. There's nothing wrong with going with the flow. At least now I can walk beside them, I thought to myself. Since I stopped talking to people, every time people around me got curious and asked me about what I liked, I would just make an awkward smile. That worked. People thought they had never seen anyone as friendly as me and would all like to become friends with me, because they thought I was the kind of person that would never hurt anyone else. They were right, partially. I gave all my love to family, to friends, to teachers, to strangers, and to other animals, and in turn, I kept all the hatred toward myself. I was so cautious not to hurt other people that I had to keep hurting myself. I hated myself so much that I wished I would all of a sudden drop dead somewhere nobody else would notice. But I knew people would get hurt had that ever happened, so I forced myself to keep living. It is natural for living creatures to breathe in order to survive, but to me, breathing became more like an obligation. I wasn't living for myself, but for someone out there that I might not even know. Just like what Blanche said in A Streetcar Named Desire, I had always depended on the kindness of strangers. It feels good when the world has very high expectations of me, but what if I can't meet such expectations? What about my own expectations? What do I want to become? I left because I couldn't take it any longer. I ran away. But now I finally come to realize that if I don't change the way I treat myself, the same things will happen over and over again no matter where I run to. I finally realized the importance of loving oneself before trying to love someone else. Everyone, including myself, thought I was kind to all living creatures. They were all deceived. I deceived every single human being, including myself. A person who does not know how to love him or herself knows nothing about loving someone else. Knowing this, I try to stop hiding my true self from people. Now I understand that I was born into this world not to live a life for anyone else, but to live my own life. I finally made peace with myself and obtained the basis to love other people. What Chester Bennington said in his song is right. In a way, we have all been searching somewhere out there for something missing right here. There are always people out there that are similar to you in many ways. But if none of you dare to show who you really are to each other, how would you know that these people actually exist everywhere around you? If you have an interest that is different from others, don't be afraid to tell people about it. If you have a talent that seems unrelated to the mainstream, don't be afraid to show it to other people. If you're tired of being considerate to others, take a moment to be considerate to yourself. Never consider yourself inferior to others just because you're different. Be proud of what you like and what you're good at and make them big. Stop trying to fit into the circles, but create your own instead. A tree was never born to grow in a tiny room made of brick. It was born to live in the wild and experience what nature has to offer. When you think everyone else is better than you at everything, don't forget that no one can do better at being you. Toni Morrison once wrote in Beloved, "You are your own best thing." The world can sometimes get so noisy that you just want to cover your ears with your hands. It can also become so unsightly that you just want to close your eyes and stop seeing anything. When you cover your ears, you're not cutting all the sound connections with the world, but rather you're listening to the sound of your own life flowing through your palms. When you close your eyes, you're not blocking the views from reaching you, but rather you're looking at the world through your own eyelids. Thinking about who we are might be one of the most complicated and painful things to do. But always remember what Ernest Hemingway said. We are all broken. That's how the light gets in. Thank you and Happy New Year.